The peace that came before the apology. Some wounds don't heal when you get the apology. Some wounds heal long before, when you decide to stop bleeding. It was a morning everything shifted. I knew something was wrong before anyone said a word. The air in our little town carries news faster than the radio ever could, and that morning, it was heavy with something sharp. Folks still waved, but their hand hesitated midair, like they weren't sure if they should. The old oak outside the church swayed slow, its leaves whispering things I couldn't catch. My coffee steamed in my hands, warm against the chill, but my stomach felt cold. That's the thing about a small town. The same closeness that keeps you from feeling lonely can make you feel caged when the whispers start. It was when the story wasn't mine anymore. It began as a misunderstanding. That's what I told myself. Anyway, one person misheard. Another filled in the blanks with their own idea of what must have happened. Pretty soon, my name was walking down Main Street without me, and it wasn't wearing the right clothes. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Matthew 15, verse 8. When people you love believe a version of you that isn't true, it's like looking into a funhouse mirror, except there's nothing fun about it. It was at first when trying to untie the knot. At first, I fought back. I explained, corrected, sat in living rooms and tried to unpick the knot thread by thread. But you ever try to unknot a rope that someone keeps tightening while you work? Why should fools have money in hand to buy wisdom when they are not able to understand it? Proverbs 17, verse 16. Some people aren't looking for the truth. They're looking for a version of the story that keeps them comfortable. So I stopped chasing them, not out of anger, but because my peace was too expensive to spend on convincing people who had already decided. But it came, the shift on the porch. One evening, with the sun sinking behind the grain silos, I sat on my porch with Psalm 119 verses 36 to 37 open in my lap. Turn my heart toward your statutes and not toward selfish gain. Turn my eyes away from worthless things. Preserve my life according to your word. I read it once, then again, and again. Sometimes you have to read the same words until they stop being ink on paper and start being oxygen in your lungs. That night, I realized the fight wasn't about setting the story straight anymore. The fight was about deciding what kind of person I'd be while the story was still crooked. I began living the truth anyway. So I kept showing up. I baked pies for the sick, stacked wood for the old folks before winter, sat in the pews where people had once whispered my name. Do not gloat over your brother in the day of his misfortune. Obadiah 1 verse 12. If I wanted mercy for myself, I had to give it even to those who hadn't earned it. Forgiveness isn't a transaction, it's a release. And the one you're setting free is yourself. The day came she spoke. Last week, in the church kitchen, I was sliding cornbread out of the oven for the summer picnic when Mrs. Hargrove, the one who'd avoided me for months, put her hand on mine. I'm sorry, she said. No big speech, no details, just that. And I realized I'd been waiting to hear those words for so long that I almost missed the fact I didn't need them anymore. Watch yourselves so that you may not lose what we have worked for, but may win a full reward. 2 John 1 verse 8. The full reward wasn't her apology. It was the peace I found before she ever gave it. The lesson I carry. People will say what they say. Let them live in a way that makes the truth undeniable, even if some never see it. Forgiveness doesn't erase the scar, but it stops the bleeding. And scars? They can remind you you're stronger than what tried to break you. If you remember nothing else from my story, remember this. You can't stop folks from planting weeds, but you can choose what grows in your garden. These thoughts I'm sharing with you now. 1. The fight was about deciding what kind of person I'd be while the story was still crooked. 2. Forgiveness isn't a transaction, it's a release. 3. You can't stop folks from planting weeds, but you can choose what grows in your garden. If you've read this far, or better yet, if you are really listening intently and intentionally to this story, maybe you've been in your own season of weeds. Maybe someone's story about you doesn't match the truth you live, or maybe you've carried the weight of waiting for an apology that never came. Here's what I've learned. Peace isn't delivered to your doorstep. You plant it, you water it, And sometimes you protect it from the storms of other people's words. So tonight, when the world gets quiet, ask yourself one question. What do I want growing in my garden tomorrow? And then start planting. Be first in choosing healing and hope. The takeaway just for you. This question never goes away. What will you do with Jesus? You don't answer it with words. You answer it with your life. For Jesus is your hope for eternal life. And that's for eternity. Choose well. And if you haven't yet, today's a really good day to start. It is by seeking God through His Word that you shall find Him. Penned by Gary Conan Doyle. In worship of God's wonderful glory. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're still here, something in this story or song clicked with you. So here's a little secret. When you hit thumbs up, it tells the YouTube gremlins, hey, more of this. And if you subscribe, it's like saying, yeah, I want in. So go ahead, tap like, hit subscribe, and make sure you don't miss what's next. Because this ride, it's just getting started.